In today's video, we dive deep into one of the most shocking episodes of Beyond the Gates, yet a turning point that leaves Fairmont Crest trembling under the weight of long-buried secrets. When Anita Dupree comes face to face with the mysterious return of Izaiah Hawthorne, everything she thought she knew about her family's power begins to crumble. A single letter, said to have been written by the late Doug McBride, threatens to expose the darkest alliances and ignite a war among the Dupree, Hawthorne, and Richardson families. What was in that letter? Why did Izaiah choose this moment to return? And how will Vanessa, Leslie, and Ted react as the truth creeps closer to home? Stay tuned as we unravel the tension, betrayal, and emotional chaos that make this episode one of the most explosive moments in Beyond the Gates history. The latest episode of Beyond the Gates unfolded like a storm gathering over the manicured lawns of Fairmont Crest, where silence had long concealed secrets too dangerous to speak aloud. On what began as an ordinary morning, Anita Dupree's world fractured in an instant. Her home, a symbol of Dupree prestige and power, became the stage for a confrontation that would shake the foundation of everything she believed she controlled. The return of Izaiah Hawthorne was something no one expected. Once a name whispered in the shadows of family disputes and unresolved histories, his sudden reappearance after years of absence carried the weight of unfinished business. He stood at Anita's doorstep, his presence calm yet commanding, his eyes dark with purpose. The chill in his voice matched the cool air of the autumn morning as he handed her a sealed envelope, an unassuming letter that, unbeknownst to her, would open the floodgates to a new era of betrayal and reckoning in Fairmont Crest. The moment Anita's trembling fingers brushed against the envelope's edges, she felt the past closing in. The letter, allegedly written by Doug McBride before his tragic death, bore his signature and the faint scent of cologne he once wore. A haunting reminder of a man whose death had been declared an accident but was now being whispered about as something far more sinister. When Anita's eyes scanned the first few lines, her breath caught in her throat. Doug's words were deliberate, almost confessional, revealing not only his fear in the days before his death but also his discovery of a hidden alliance. A partnership between Jacob Hawthorne and Martin Richardson that went beyond business and veered into conspiracy. Doug's accusations hinted that the Dupree empire, long admired as a pillar of power and legacy, had been built on deceit and manipulation orchestrated by those closest to Anita herself. As the weight of the revelation pressed on her chest, the fragile porcelain cup in her hand slipped and shattered across the marble floor, the echo reverberating like a warning through the silent halls. Outside, Izaiah's expression remained unreadable as Anita's composure crumbled. He had fulfilled his duty, to deliver the truth, but his motives were cloaked in ambiguity. To Anita, he seemed both a messenger and an avenger, someone who had returned not merely to expose a lie but to reignite old wounds. Rumors of his past connection to Doug had long circulated, and now his timing appeared too deliberate to be coincidence. News of Izaiah's return traveled swiftly through the tight social network of Fairmont Crest. Vanessa McBride, still mourning her husband's death, was shaken when she heard that a letter in Doug's handwriting had resurfaced. Though grief had consumed much of her strength, Vanessa's instincts sharpened. She began to suspect that Izaiah was not a simple courier but a man with an agenda, perhaps one who sought to reopen Doug's case and expose the corruption buried beneath the Dupree legacy. Her late husband had warned her about the danger of crossing the wrong people, and now, the ghosts of his warnings were materializing before her eyes. Meanwhile, Leslie and Ted, watching events unfold from afar, could feel the walls closing in around them. For months, they had quietly manipulated accounts and diverted funds to conceal financial inconsistencies tied to Dupree investments. They had believed their secrets were secure, hidden behind layers of trust and silence, but Doug's letter threatened to bring everything into the light. If the letter truly named Jacob and Martin, it might also contain traces of their involvement, details that could dismantle years of careful deception. In their shared anxiety, they found themselves turning on each other, questioning who might have slipped or betrayed their confidence. As the camera lingered on Anita, alone in her grand yet suffocating home, the emotional tension reached its peak. Her hands trembled as she unfolded the letter, each word drawing her deeper into the labyrinth of betrayal. Doug's voice seemed to echo in her mind, painting a portrait of deceit that connected every corner of Fairmont Crest. From Martin's boardroom to Jacob's private meetings, from Vanessa's grief to Izaiah's vengeance. The truth, once hidden behind luxury and propriety, was now bleeding through the surface. Outside the Dupree estate, Izaiah paused for a moment before walking away. His posture was rigid, his face a mask of quiet determination. Though his duty appeared fulfilled, his eyes betrayed the flicker of something personal, a deeper connection to Doug's death that no one yet understood. Behind him, the mansion loomed, its polished facade unable to hide the cracks forming beneath the weight of its secrets. Fairmont Crest, once a sanctuary of the elite, now stood on the brink of implosion. In the distance, storm clouds gathered, a fitting reflection of the turmoil spreading among its residents. Anita's discovery would not remain contained. Vanessa's suspicions, Leslie's fear, and Ted's guilt were about to collide in a web of retribution that promised to consume them all. The episode closed with a haunting silence, Anita clutching the letter as her world unraveled, and Izaiah disappearing into the mist, leaving behind not closure, but a new beginning for chaos. The Dupree name, long synonymous with influence and perfection, now faced a reckoning that no amount of wealth could prevent. And as the credits rolled, one truth became unmistakable: the gates of Fairmont had finally opened, not to keep danger out, but to let justice in. As the episode fades to black, the echoes of what just unfolded continue to haunt every corner of Fairmont Crest. The letter Izaiah delivered was not just a message from the dead, it was a ticking time bomb that has already begun to fracture alliances, destroy trust, and expose the cracks beneath the polished surface of the Dupree empire. Anita stands alone in her mansion, the same walls that once represented power and pride now feeling more like a prison closing in around her. The words in Doug's letter are burned into her mind, leaving her torn between disbelief and dread. Could everything her family built, the wealth, the influence, the image of perfection, truly have been founded on deceit and betrayal? Or is she being manipulated by forces that want to see her empire fall from within? Outside those gates, the world of Fairmont Crest is quietly shifting. Vanessa McBride, shaken to her core, begins piecing together fragments of Doug's final days, determined to uncover who really wanted her husband silenced. Her grief transforms into quiet resolve, and behind her sorrow lies a dangerous new strength, one that might finally challenge the Dupree family's dominance. Meanwhile, Leslie and Ted grow increasingly paranoid. The mention of financial misconduct in Doug's letter has put them on edge, and as whispers of investigation spread through town, their once solid partnership starts to splinter. Fear becomes their constant companion, and both begin to wonder whether the other might betray them first in a desperate attempt at self-preservation. And then there's Izaiah. His sudden reappearance was no coincidence, and the calmness he displayed hides years of resentment and buried pain. As he walks away from the Dupree mansion, viewers can sense he's not done. The letter was merely the first step in a much larger plan. Whether his true motive is revenge, justice, or redemption remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Izaiah knows more than anyone else about what happened to Doug McBride. And he's not afraid to bring the entire truth into the light, no matter who gets destroyed in the process. In the days ahead, Fairmont Crest will face its greatest test yet. Old secrets will resurface, loyalties will be tested, and power will shift in unpredictable ways. Anita's control over her family is slipping, and the same strength that once made her untouchable may now turn against her. The Dupree legacy, built on glamour and control, stands at the edge of collapse, while those who once bowed to its influence are beginning to rise against it. This episode leaves us with more questions than answers, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. What else was in Doug's letter that Anita has yet to reveal? Why did he trust Izaiah with it, and what connection does Izaiah truly have to the Hawthorne brothers and Martin Richardson? Will Vanessa uncover the truth about her husband's death before it's too late, or will she become the next victim in this dangerous game of secrets? One thing is clear: the peace and privilege that once defined Fairmont Crest are gone. In their place stand suspicion, fear, and the slow unraveling of power. As Anita stares at the final lines of Doug's confession, viewers can sense that the war for control and survival has only just begun. The gates that once protected the elite have now become the walls of their downfall. And beyond those gates, justice waits patiently, ready to strike. If this episode has proven anything, it's that no secret stays buried forever. The Duprees, the McBrides, and the Hawthornes are about to learn that the past always finds its way home, and when it does, it demands a price that even Fairmont's wealth cannot pay.